Okay, so recently I built this PC on the channel, which is a pretty good PC. It's got an RX 5600X, I believe, I'm not actually sure. And then it's got an AMD RX 580. And even though this is a wonderful computer, it just doesn't fit right there, which is just below my TV. I grew up as a console player, and so generally speaking, I would play on a console that was hooked up to my TV, and that is what I'd like to emulate here. So what I need to do is I need to take what is inside this computer and I need to shrink it down into an ATX form factor that is more squarish, that will fit inside the cubby that I would like to fit it in. And so let's go ahead and go over to OBS so I can show you what I'm going to do. Okay, just kidding. Before we do that, I'm actually going to show you what I'm going to use to build this thing. So for the motherboard, we're going with a Gigabyte A520i AC. I'm actually not a super big expert on motherboards. I just know this one fit my specifications, and so I'm gonna roll with it. It's an AM4 motherboard, which is what I need. And then this is the Thermaltake Core V1. It's got this massive fan on the front, and then it has some spots for a couple of smaller fans around back. And that's actually kind of a bummer because I don't think I'm gonna be able to fit this massive heatsink and fan assembly on there. And also it doesn't take these 120 millimeter fans. And so I kind of just end up with a bunch of cooling solution that just isn't going to be really useful for this case, but this case was the best match for where I want to put it. And so that means I'll probably end up having to use the included cooler that came with the RX 5600 or the Ryzen 5 5600X. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And then you're gonna need obviously a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver of probably one or two sizes, like a Phillips 1 and a Phillips 2. Anyway, okay, now let's go over to OBS where I can show you building this thing. Okay, this took way too long to walk you through step by step of what I'm doing. So I'm taking out the RAM and the PSU, the SSD and the graphics card and the processor. And then I'm moving those over to the new case, which I will put the ITX motherboard in, as well as the new stock cooler that came with the processor, and then just put everything back together. You know, ITX gets a lot of flack for not being that accessible to build in, but I didn't think it was that bad. There wasn't a lot of room for cable management, but overall, it just wasn't too bad of an experience, and there you have it. All right, there it is. Here goes nothing. Hey, there it is. So it's a little bit louder than I would have wanted, especially when it ramps up while playing like Call of Duty and whatnot. But it fits really well, and it's generally speaking not too warm back here and on the sides. So I would say that's a win. But yeah, we have a totally functioning computer inside that little cubby, which is nice. It's the smallest computer I've ever built. I've never built inside an ITX case before. So that's pretty cool. And as always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.